Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Good evening, Manali. Hi, Abhijit. Hello, Sarmishta. Hi, Subodh. Hello, Tamitam. Can you guys hear me? Please confirm. Is it loud and clear? All right. So let's just wait for a couple of minutes while others join in. Okay, I think we can start off right now. So yesterday we stopped at keyword match types, right? And we saw an overview of the different keyword match types. So I'll go over it one more time for all of you. And if you have any doubts, let me know. So the first keyword match type that we discussed is the broad match keyword, which is when you create a keyword in the ad group, when you write a word as it is without any special symbol attached to it, by default, the match type that gets assigned to it is called the broad match type. And how does a broad match keyword trigger your ads? It will allow any related terms, synonyms, or even misspellings to allow your ads to potentially show up for a search query. So if you look at the example given in the slide, if you're having a ad group about some diet plan and one of the broad match keyword is a low carb diet plan, it will allow your ad to potentially show up even if the search query is like something like low carb diets, carb free foods, Mediterranean diet plans, low carbohydrate dietary program. So these are all not directly related to the actual keyword but slight variations and related terms, right? Still, it can allow your ad to be triggered because the keyword match type is broad match. So when will you use such a match type? Typically when you don't have so much of time on hand to build a elaborate long keyword list and you want your keyword to trigger your ads for any related queries. Okay. And if you wish to have more traffic and quickly generate impressions or clicks, that is another reason why you could go for this match type. What is the downside of using this match type? Because related terms and synonyms may trigger the ads, it also runs the risk of sometimes triggering your ad for a query which may not be fully relevant. That can happen, which is why you may run the risk of having a lower quality score because the relevance between the keyword and the ad may not always be 100%. This can in turn also lead to a low CTR because people may not click on the ad if it is not completely relevant for them, right? So if you notice that you are having a lot of broad match keywords in an ad group and your keyword quality score or CTR metric is going down over time, it is dipping, maybe it will be a good idea to change some of the broad match type keywords into some of the other match types. Am I clear on this? Any doubts? Are you clear on when to use it, when not to use it? Yeah? Alright. Then we move on to broad match modifier. A broad match modifier keyword is basically a broad match keyword with a plus sign before it. So if you're having a two-worded keyword like let's say tennis shoe or women's hats, if you put a plus sign before either of the words or both words, that changes the match type to a broad match modifier. Now, how does it behave differently if it's a broad match modifier? The word before which you are putting the plus sign, system will ensure that that word is present in the query. If it is replaced by a related term or a synonym, it won't trigger your ad. For example, if my broad match modifier keyword is women's hats, and assuming that I have put plus sign only before the word women's, okay, not before hats. In this case, what will happen is any query where the word women is there, something like let's say women's caps, that can trigger my ad. But if I say ladies hats and search, it may not, because the word women is changed and only a related term is appearing in the search. So by putting a plus sign, I am restricting my search, my ads to be triggered only when the user specifically mentions women's, not any other term. Is that clear? Hi Robin. So if you look at how this is behaving, the word before which the plus sign is not there, it can still be triggered for related words like let's say women's caps, okay, or caps for women. All these can potentially trigger the ad. In ladies hat, hat is the are you talking about? Yeah, so if so Sarmishra, the example I gave is if I am putting a broad match modifier like let's say women's hats. Now the where is the plus sign? It is before the word women, which means that word should be as it is. Which is why if ladies hats is the search query, it won't trigger. Whereas if it is women's caps, it can trigger because there is no plus sign before hats. So even a synonym or a related term can trigger it as long as the word women is still present. So you are bringing about a limited amount of restriction on how the keyword can trigger your ad. Am I clear on this? Any doubts? Okay. Then we move on to phrase match. In phrase match, the sequencing of the word is the most important factor. So if I have a keyword like tennis shoes and I put it in within double inverted commas, it means I am allowed I'm allowing the system to trigger my ads for any search query where tennis shoes is written in this order. So if let's say Abhijit writes buy tennis shoes, it can still trigger the ad potentially, or buy red tennis shoe. It can still trigger the ad because that word tennis shoes is appearing in that order. The moment that order is disturbed, let's say like something like shoes for tennis or shoes tennis, it won't trigger. So by doing this, you're ensuring that the person who is searching and who is ultimately seeing your ad is going to enter a phrase in the exact order in which you're putting the phrase match keyword. Abhijit, the example for women's hats in the presentation was different from what I mentioned. What I mentioned was having only plus sign before women's. In the previous slide, if you notice, it is before both women and hat. That's why if you look at the second column where your ads may show on searches for, all those terms are having both the words women and hats. Okay. I had made a modification when I was explaining. I said plus women and just hats without a plus sign. Is the phrase match keyword clear, guys? the sequencing or ordering of the words is of utmost importance over here. Now, when will you use this keyword? This match type. You can use this keyword to increase the relevance of your ad to the search query, because definitely your ad will be having the phrase which the person is searching for, because only then it can trigger, right? You are putting that in the phrase match option. So there's, if you want a higher CTR or greater relevance and your quality score to improve, phrase match is a good option. At the same time, it allows a limited amount of flexibility, because people can use words before or after it. Any prefix or suffix is fine as long as the sequencing is correct. Yeah. Then comes exact match keywords. In exact match, you put a square bracket before and after the word which you want to be in exact match. So when you write the keyword in the AdWords interface, you will put it within the square brackets. Now, how does this behave? If you remember phrase match, tennis shoe in phrase match will allow your ad to show even for buy tennis shoe. Yeah. Or tennis shoe sale. But when you put a keyword in exact match, what happens is the ad will be triggered only when a person writes the key search query exactly like how you have written the keyword. Even if I write buy tennis shoe, if the keyword is an exact match, it will not trigger my ad. So it's a highly restrictive form. The only exceptions are very close variants, like let's say I write women's shoes and you enter the search query woman, WOMAN. My keyword is WOMEN. Those kind of close variations are exempted from this. So why will people do this kind of match type? Because sometimes there could be certain products or certain services where you may have very close variants which can lead to irrelevant clicks. Can you think about any such product? Just think. No? Anybody? How about, let's say, the new iPhone 10 has been released, let's say, and you are a retailer who is selling the latest iPhone. You are creating a campaign for iPhone 10. Don't you think if you put iPhone 10 in phrase match, or let's say not phrase match, in broad match, it can run the risk of getting triggered even for iPhone 7, 6, 5, or even let's say somebody is searching for iPhone 10 cover or iPhone 10 something else, some accessory. But your intention is to promote only the mobile phone device. So maybe you can put iPhone 10 mobile or iPhone 10 phone, or whichever way you want to put it, in exact match, so that the related terms or the close variations which are actually completely different products, those queries do not trigger your ad. Will that cost a retailer less? No, it's, I'm not saying it will cost the retailer less. You will be able to avoid unnecessary impressions on your ad or irrelevant clicks on your ad. So Sarmisha, let's say I am having this iPhone 10 dealership, okay, and I sell only phone, or I'm creating a campaign only purely for my phone. Now let's say you search for iPhone 10 cover, all right, it triggers my ad. Now the more the number of times my ad gets triggered, the impressions keep going up, right? And the more the impression goes up, if I don't get that many clicks, the CTR will go down. If the CTR goes down, what will happen? My quality score gets affected, which means my ad rank will go down, my cost will increase. So it all have a cascading effect. More than that, if people start clicking on my ad, despite it not being relevant, or if it's like a close variation of some other product they're looking for, I'm getting charged unnecessarily for clicks which are not really relevant for me. So exact match is something that you can use if you're finding that there are a lot of irrelevant clicks coming your way, there's a lot of cost going up without having enough returns on investment or sales happening, so that you can kind of restrict your the way your ad is getting triggered to exact terms which you want. So the only thing you need to be careful here is when you do an exact match, since your ad will not be triggered for any other word, you have to think about all possible relevant variations and put them in exact match, so that you don't miss out on any relevant searches. That's also important, right? So a good ad group will have a judicious mix of all these different match types. If you're finding certain keywords costing you too much, not getting you enough return, maybe you can convert them into a exact match. If you're finding certain other keywords not at all giving any impressions, maybe you can change it to a slightly broader match type, like a phrase match or a broad match modifier or even broad match. So it's like a trial and error, but you can play around with those keywords and see which match type works best for you. So what I would recommend is, some of you guys have created the ad group already. I would recommend you to revisit those ad groups later this week or next week and see. I mean, I'm sure all of you must have created broad match keywords because you may not have used any of these signs, right? So see which of these words can be changed into a broad match, phrase match, sorry, broad match modifier, phrase match, or exact match keywords. Is that fine? You will get a better idea of which match type to use once the campaign is live. So if any of you are running a live campaign, by investing a small amount, you will have some real data also to help you assess which keywords can be made into a narrower format match type. Is this clear? Any doubt? How about others? All right. So the last match type is the negative match type, where basically what we are doing is so far we've been looking at how you can write a keyword in a particular match type so that it triggers your ad. In negative match type, you are making sure how certain terms do not trigger your ad. Okay. So as I mentioned in the yesterday's class, if I'm offering certain services like, let's say, yoga class, tarot reading, and all these things, and I do not offer free service, definitely I don't want my ads to show up if somebody searches for free yoga class or free tarot reading, right? So that word which which I don't want to trigger my ad, I will put that as a negative keyword by putting a minus sign before it. Okay. Now I can use this minus sign or the negative match type with broad match or negative, or I mean phrase match keywords. Like for example, you can see here, if I use the word running shoes as a negative broad match keyword, just putting the negative sign before it, what will happen? Any words which has any search query which has both the words running and shoes will not trigger my ad. So you can see that somebody searches for blue running shoes. No. Shoes running. No. Running shoes. No. It won't trigger because both the words which are part of the broad match negative is part of the query. But the moment somebody searches blue tennis shoe, where the word running is missing, it can still show because both the words are not present simultaneously. Are you clear about this? Same way, I can put a minus sign before a phrase match keyword like running shoe. What will happen? Anytime a search query has running shoe written in that order in the search query, it will not trigger my ad. So blue running shoes, it will not. Just running shoes, it will not. Somebody writes shoes running, it can. Or blue tennis shoe, it can. Google running gear, it can. Only in instances where the running shoe occurs in that order, it will not trigger my ad. So just the exact opposite of how the other match type is behaving. Okay. And I can also use it with exact match, so that if I put running shoes in exact match and then put a negative sign, only when people search exactly for running shoes, it will not trigger my ad. Now the question is, how do you understand what can go into or what can qualify as a negative keyword? Yeah, there are two ways of doing this. One is of course the keyword planner tool, which we discussed yesterday. You will notice that sometimes when I search for, let's say, yoga class, for example, keyword planner will show up words which it believes are related to this word. Yeah. Now, if it shows as a related term yoga class videos, okay, as a very related term having a lot of searches, but I don't offer any yoga class videos as a service. Do you think that is relevant for me, that keyword? But do you think that keyword has the potential to trigger my ad because keyword planner and the system recognize it as a related keyword? So somebody searches for it, it can potentially trigger, right? So I want to avoid that. So when keyword planner shows up these suggestions which it finds to be relevant but which are not related to my service or what I provide, I can take it as a cue and add those words. Like let's say I can put videos as a negative keyword so that any query with videos don't trigger my ad. Yeah. So keyword planner is one way of finding these negative keywords. The other way is, yesterday when I showed you that interface towards the end of the class, I showed you there is a tab under keywords called search terms. So if you go to that search terms tab, you can create a report which is called the search term report, which is basically a report of what were the exact terms people searched for when the ads in my ad group got triggered. That's all. So this will give me insight into what are the queries that people are actually searching for. And if I find that people are searching for certain unrelated terms that are triggering my ad, costing me, I can add them as my negative keywords. So search term report and keyword planner, both of these will get you insights as to what can qualify as a negative keyword. Yeah. Any doubts till now? All right. Now, see, every campaign will have different ad groups, right, guys? And each ad group will be related to a particular theme. But overall, if I'm having a campaign related to shoes, or if I'm having a campaign related to yoga, all the ad groups will somehow or the other relate to the shoes or yoga, right? Just that it will be more specific to a particular theme. Now, having said that, it is very likely that there will be certain set of negative keywords which are applicable at the campaign level. For example, if I don't offer any yoga services for free, the term free can be a negative keyword for any ad group in the campaign. Do you agree? Or if I make shoes and I am selling shoes, but I sell shoes only for men, the term women as negative keyword is applicable for all the ad groups under that campaign. Yeah, because whichever way I'm going to find a specific theme, it will all be related to shoes for men, not for women. So any query for women's shoe, I don't want my ad to trigger. So considering this situation, AdWords will give you an option to create a negative keyword list which can be saved either at the campaign level or the ad group level. So if I create, so basically what you can do is when you go to negative keywords tab under keywords, it will ask you to add negative keywords. Either you can add manually to a campaign or ad group, or you can use a negative keyword list. If you want to add manually, select the first option, then select whether you want to apply these keywords at the campaign level. So if I say campaign, then it will ask me select the campaign. I can select one of the campaigns that are created in my account. So whatever keywords I add, it will be added at the campaign level. So I don't have to think about those keywords again when I create new ad groups, because I know these keyword lists will be applicable to any ad group that is being created under the campaign. Okay. Is this clear? The first option, you go to the negative keywords tab, select add negative keywords option, and select at what level you want to add it, campaign level or ad group level. If you select campaign level, it will give you a list of campaigns which you can select. If you select ad group, it will first ask you to select the campaign and then the ad group. Yeah, are we clear on this? So if you don't want to add to a campaign or ad group, but you want to create a list of negative keywords that are applicable commonly, you can select the second option, use negative keyword list. Okay. So in the keyword tab, if you select use negative keyword list, for it to show a negative keyword list, it has to be created under shared library. So if you go to your tools icon, if you have your AdWords account open, if you go to the tool icon on the top right hand side, that spanner icon, and you click on it, you will see a drop down menu under which one section is shared library. In this shared library, there is an option for you to create a negative keyword list. So once you create a negative keyword list here, it will be available for you to select over here. Is that clear? So if you're going for the negative keyword list option, you need to click on the tool icon, go to the shared library, click on the negative keyword list and give a name to the list. So if I want to create a negative keyword list for yoga related stuff, I will name it as yoga negative keywords. Okay, or yoga class negative keywords. And then start adding the negative keywords in one per line, like free, videos, whatever. Whatever I think is not relevant for my service, I will add them. This negative keyword will be called yoga negative keywords if I'm naming it as such. Once I add the negative keywords, I can save it. Okay. And once I save it, in the other interface, which I already showed you, when I select use negative keyword list, I will be able to select the list and add it to a particular campaign. Are we clear on this? Okay, I think Mahesh is having some internet issues at his end, so he will have to log off right now and connect again. Okay, Mahesh, that's fine. I'm hoping others are able to hear me fine. All right. So that's about negative match types. So are we clear about all the match types? Broad match modifier, phrase match, exact match, negative match, and how to create the negative keyword list? Do we still add negative signs while making this list? Yes, Namrata. So when I first create a list, it will ask me to give a name to the list and start adding the negative keywords under that list. Then I will save it. Once this list is saved, I will just select that list. All the keywords under that list will be applicable for that campaign or ad group. Yes, Abhijit, I'll repeat one more time. Shared library is a option you get under the tools icon. Can you locate the tools icon on your interface? A spanner kind of a icon on top right hand side. If you click that, it will show you a drop down menu where you can see your account settings, billing and payment setup and everything. One column is shared library. Yeah. So shared library has certain features or options which you can create, like shared budget or other lists which you can create, or bid strategies that you can create, which are applicable across campaigns or across ad groups. Well, that's why it's called shared library. So if you want to create a list of negative keywords which you want to share across campaigns or something like that, you can click on negative keyword list here. It will open up a page which you are seeing on the middle of the screen, where it will ask you to name the list. So you can give a name to your negative keyword list, write all the negative keywords you want to be part of this list and save it. That's all. That's right. One per line. That's right. Okay. And to generate ideas for this list, you can use the keyword planner suggestions and search term report. So now a short activity to check whether you've got the concept right. Imagine you're building a keyword list for a company that is selling yoga pants. Now, if you want to include the broad match keyword women's yoga pants, so women's yoga pant is a broad match keyword. Okay, that is something that you want to include. If you are keeping that match type, what will be the searches that can trigger your ad? One, two, three. Which of these will trigger your ad? The keyword you have used is women's yoga pants in broad match. These three are the three different search queries. First one, okay. You can say first, second, third, first, second, third, all three, whichever. So if you think any of these words will not trigger, give me the reason also. Okay. So why do you think the others are not triggering? The other word won't trigger. Tell me the reason why you think so. Okay. They are casual. Anybody else has any answer? Can W be a reason? No. Okay. So Abhijit got it right. In the first case, it can trigger your ad because the keywords are not case sensitive. Even if it is caps, it is fine. So search term can have. That's right, Sharmishta. Second, misspellings. Yoga one A is missing, but still misspellings are not considered. They are discounted in a broad match keyword type. And trousers will be treated as a related term. Is that clear? Any doubt here? Okay. If you don't have any doubts, we'll proceed. So next we are going to look at landing page optimization. Okay. That's right, Sarmishra. Each of those words would have triggered. So what is a landing page? Landing page is the final URL to which a person will be redirected to once they click on your ad. Okay. So when you create an ad, you are having an option where you can specify the final URL. The experience the user has when they land on your page has a big role to play in determining the quality score, which means the landing page experience can also affect your ad rank, which means it can also affect your cost. Now, if you go to your keywords tab, once your ad starts running live and it starts getting data, you will see a score for landing page experience. It will be rated as good, average, above average, something like that. Okay. Now, this landing page experience is a AdWords measure which can indicate how well your website is giving people what they're looking for. Okay. And there are different factors that can determine a landing page experience. First and foremost, the relevance and usefulness of the information that you have on the page. So this is something I have mentioned earlier also. If I'm seeing an ad related to yoga class, I click on the ad, I'm taken to a page on the website which is talking about Zumba class. Do you think that will be relevant and useful for me? Or if I'm seeing an ad and clicking on an ad for a sports shoe, and I'm taken to a homepage of a shoe website where you have n number of shoes from formal wear, uh, walking, everything. No, right? So it becomes relevant from a user's landing page experience point of view to navigate him or her to the exact final URL. Secondly, ease of navigation. Once you land on the page, it should be easy for the user to navigate and understand where to click to reach where. Have you come across certain websites which, let's say you open it on your mobile, you have to keep scrolling it up and down, zooming in and out to make sense of what is written there and what are the options available for you to click on something? And there are certain other websites which are having a very clean interface, loads very quickly. You can see these are the options that you have. You can click wherever, navigate easily. So that ease of navigation is a very important factor that can affect your landing page experience. And secondly, how many links are there on the page? If you make it too cluttered with too many pop-ups and other ads and so many other links, it definitely affects the user experience because it can confuse the user as to what to do. So certain things that you can do to understand whether your landing page is friendly. And when I say friendly, one of the factors which Google gives a lot of priority these days is the uh, mobile friendliness of your landing page, because a lot of traffic is coming through mobile devices. So there is this one tool which is a free tool called the mobile friendly test by Google, which I can show you now. So let's say I'm going to enter my website. I'll say run the test. Okay, what do you see over here? It says this page is mobile friendly. It's giving a snapshot of the landing page. Now it also gives you additional detail like page loading issue. So if I click on view details over here, it will tell me something which I can improve upon. So you put any URL like this. For example, if I put my yoga website, analyzing. Got it? So it will again tell you how friendly is the page and any issues. Anybody has any doubt? The other one is a AMP click rate tester. Basically, it's something that your developer can do. AMP means accelerated mobile pages. So these are improvised kind of mobile pages which loads very quickly on mobile devices. So you may have seen this in with regard to certain websites. The moment you click on a link or a page or an article link, it loads instantaneously. Have you noticed that? Compared to certain other websites, which takes time to slowly load. So AMP pages are recommended by Google. They give a very good user experience. Now, this particular AMP validator is a link or a tool which will help you assess how well your AMP pages are doing. So if I have 10 AMP pages, it will tell me how often are they loading as AMP pages. So to test that, you can use the AMP validator tool. Okay. And of course, performance metrics. You can look at things like what is the bounce rate on your website? Are people leaving too quickly after coming there? Or are people not clicking on the links that you want them to click? These are the basic performance metrics you can check on your website to understand whether people are experiencing your landing page in a user-friendly manner. Are we clear on this? How to assess landing page experience? So if you guys have a landing page URL in mind, maybe you can test it using the mobile friendly tool. Did I share the link for this? I don't think so. So this is the tool. Just type in any page that you would like to test for. And this is the tool for AMP validator. You can bookmark it somewhere, guys, so that you both of the links. So AMP validator you don't have to test now. For mobile friendly, just type in any URL that you want to test. If you have your own website, you can do that, or blog or something else. So this is how AMP validator will look like. So your web developer can run this to see whether the URL that you are entering is fine. You can type like this, like I have written right now. But if you have to make sense of it, you may have to know a little bit of this language. That's why I said maybe you can give it to your web developer too. Mobile friendly tool test tool is quite simple. It will just tell you straight away whether it's mobile friendly or not, and it will highlight any issue that your website might be having. Okay, Robin, can we proceed? Any doubts here on landing page? The language I think was HTML, Abhijit, but I'm not a programming guy. I don't know the languages, which is why I don't go into the details of it. But I'm just sharing the tools with you. Okay, the mobile friendly page is something that you can any layman can use. The other one, you can check it with your web developer who might typically know. Which one is not working, Sarmishta? Okay, you mean the tool. It could be the net speed because it's working for me here. You can try it out later. Did anybody else try the mobile friendly tool? Did it work for you guys? All right. So now let's, all right. So we can make use of it, bookmark it somewhere. We are going to look at budget and bid strategies next. Budget is the daily budget that you set for your ads to run. So when you create a campaign, at the campaign level, you have an option to create a budget. Okay. So you specify it like how I have mentioned 100 rupee per day. It's the maximum amount you're willing to spend for a single day. Now, what can determine what you set as a daily budget? First of all, your advertising goal and whatever is the amount that you're comfortable spending. If you have a particular limitation on a budget, you can't obviously spend more than that, right? And Google does not demand a minimum spend of sorts, so you can uh, keep a budget that is flexible for you on a daily basis. Now, there are certain tips to determine how to set your daily budget. One is you can first calculate what is your monthly budget. So if I have a sense of this is the amount I want to spend on a monthly basis on my campaign, I just need to divide it by 30.4 to arrive at the daily budget. 30.4 is the average number of days in a month. Is this clear? So if you have a monthly budget in mind, just divide by 30.4, put the figure that you get as the daily budget in the campaign setting. The other option is sometimes when the ad starts running and you are starting to accrue charges and everything, you will understand that okay, on an average I am spending an X amount on my clicks. Okay, so to give you an example, let's say my ads started running and my cost per click is coming to about, average cost per click is coming to about 5 rupee per click. Now if my target is to get 500 clicks per day, how much budget should I set as a daily budget? If I find my average cost per click is 5 rupee, my daily budget will be something where I should multiply the number of clicks that I'm setting as my goal in a single day with the average cost per click that I'm currently having. So if my average cost per click is 5 rupee and I'm aiming to get 500 clicks, I should be spending at least 500 into 5, 2500 rupees on a daily basis. Are you getting the logic here? I can repeat. So Robin, my ads have started running and I can see that on an average I'm getting my clicks at 5 rupee per click. This is the example. Okay. Now I have a certain sense of how many clicks I want in a month. I have a target. In that case, what I can do is I can multiply the target that I have for myself with the average cost per click to understand, to allow that much budget to be present. So if I want 500 clicks in a day, I should definitely have that much of budget, right? If I'm costing, it is costing 5 rupee per click. I set a budget of let's say 100 rupee per day. How many clicks will I get maximum? About 20 clicks, right? By the time I get 20 clicks, my entire budget will be exhausted. My ads will stop running. Isn't that true? Is this clear? Yes, sir, Mishra. How you have come to know that you're seeking 5 rupee? So that's what I said. You can use this method when your ads have already gone live. So this is an example. So when your ad has already been running, for every click you will start getting a certain cost per click, right? The actual amount that you spend. So you will know that, okay, if I got about 10 clicks and I've spent about a certain particular amount, I can understand what is the average cost per click that I'm getting. So if I'm having 10 clicks and I have spent 50 rupees for the 10 clicks, what is the average cost per click? 50 rupees divided by 10 clicks, right? The total amount I spent during a particular time frame divided by the total number of clicks I got will get me what is the cost per click on an average. You get it? So if I look at my entire last week data and I find that, okay, for the last 7 days I have spent 50 rupees and I've got only 10 clicks, it means on an average I might have spent 5 rupees per click. Is it clear, Sir Mishra? So this is the second method is not something that you can use when you're straight away starting a campaign with no data. So you may have to go for, okay, I have a monthly budget in mind. Let me work with that. I'll divide that by 30.4. That's right. So first time you go with whatever is a comfortable budget for you. Okay. So we are just looking at different ways of arriving at a daily budget. Another way of doing it is once your campaign has started running, okay, there is a section in the AdWords interface which will start giving you recommendations. So let's say I have set 100 rupee per day as my daily budget and my campaign started going live, and let's say my budget is never met, which means I'm spending only about 20 rupee per day, 30 rupee, 50 rupee. I have never exhausted my daily budget. Then it may not give me any recommendation. But let's say I have set 100 rupee daily budget every day, that 100 rupees getting spent right away in the morning or by afternoon. Then it can give you recommendations on maybe improving the budget, giving you some estimates that, okay, if you raise your budget by 10 rupee, by 50 rupee, you can get so many extra impressions, extra clicks. All these kind of recommendations, campaign recommendations will be coming up for you in the AdWords interface, which you can consider. There's no hard and fast rule that you should take it, but you can consider it. And finally, when you create a campaign, you also can choose the ad delivery option, where you will have two options: standard delivery, accelerated delivery. Standard delivery is when you want your daily budget to be spread out and spent evenly through the day. So if I set 100 rupee per day in a standard delivery option, system will try to spend a little bit of that 20-30 rupees in the morning, 20-30 in the afternoon, so that there is a scope for my ad to run through the day. If I select accelerated delivery, which is something we do very rarely, maybe during a very time sensitive campaign where your budget doesn't matter beyond a short time, in that case you will choose accelerated delivery and your ads will be delivered and your budget will be spent ASAP. Okay, so if I have, let's say I'm selling tickets for a concert that is happening tomorrow, or let's say product launch, something like that, where this budget what I have allocated for this campaign is no longer relevant after tomorrow, and I still have a large chunk of budget remaining, it's not getting spent, maybe I can change my ad delivery method to accelerated, where the system will just try to exhaust this budget by showing up your ad more often. Okay, that's not recommended. What is recommended is standard delivery. Are we clear on this? Okay. So one activity, imagine you're creating an AdWords account for a new small business. Okay, it's a new business and a small business. What is the best strategy to set an initial budget? Which one will you go for? One, two, or three? Just read the options. Okay, 2 2 2 2 1 1. Okay, anybody else? Any other answers? Okay, the answer is the first option will be 2 less to get any meaningful results. Second seems to be the best option, so that you can start with a small moderate budget, and then as you start getting the results, keep investing more, increasing the budget. Third option might be a little too risky, so it's always better to test with lower stakes, not too low but enough to give you a meaningful result, and then start increasing rather than just start big and then lower it. Okay, any doubts here? All right, so we come to bidding. In bidding, so what we saw just now is budget. How much am I willing to spend maximum in a single day? Bidding is what is the highest amount or the maximum amount I'm willing to spend. So AdWords offers several ways in which you can pay. Okay, you can pay for click, in which case you'll be having a bid strategy called cost per click or PPC, very popular, right? Or sometimes you can pay for every 1,000 impressions, 1,000 times your ad is shown, in which case it's called VCPM. Okay, then you have cost per acquisition. Acquisition means conversion. So when you want a person to click on your ad, go to your website, take an action, for that you can bid. Or if you're having a video ad, you can opt for paying for every view on your ad. So these are all different media cost models or bid strategies. Let's see a short video to understand this better.
So you're ready to start buying ad space, but not sure about the best way to do it. First, you have to understand the different cost models and the benefits of each. These are the 5 most common cost models that advertisers and agencies use. Let's start with CPM, or cost per thousand impressions. Using CPM is basically like paying website publishers to plaster ads for your company all around the internet. Whether people see your ad or not, the price you pay is the same every time your ad is shown. You can also opt for a VCPM, or viewable cost per thousand impressions, to make sure you only pay when your ads appear in visible areas on the internet. Making a CPM viewable increases the likelihood customers will see your ads, but cost you a little more. Now let's say your goal is to get people into your online store or to view your website. The CPC, or cost per click model, may be for you. Whenever a person clicks your ad, you pay the publisher a certain rate. A CPV, or cost per view, works the same, except the ad itself is a video, and you only pay if someone watches your video or clicks around. Then there's the cost per acquisition, or CPA model. Think of this as a customer spending money in your store. In this model, you only pay when a customer does something online that you want them to, like buying an item or signing up for a newsletter after seeing or clicking on your ad. Because the publisher only gets paid when the user takes that action, the CPA model tends to cost a bit more, but is meant to drive more promising outcomes. Now all you have to do is decide the best model for your business and let the customers do the rest.
Okay, was that clear? I'll just explain it one more time. The first model was cost per click, right? So when your objective is ROI or sales or conversions, Are you okay with people just viewing your ad on Google, or do you want them to take an action on it? You want them to click on it at least, right? In which case, it makes sense for you to bid on every click and pay for the clicks. So the impressions will be completely free. So you can select an option like CPC or cost per click. When your marketing objective is something like brand awareness, to build brand visibility, you're new to the market, you want people to know that such a product or service exists, would you be focused more on people clicking on your ad or on reaching out and exposing the awareness about your product to maximum number of people? Typically, when the goal is brand awareness, the focus will be more on gaining maximum number of impressions so that you can reach out to maximum number of people. So it makes sense to bid on impressions. So every 1,000 times your ad gets shown, you can say I will be willing to pay X amount. So your bid is VCPM. So here V means viewable CPM. Viewable just means that sometimes when you are on a page, on a website or a page, you see one half of the page, right? And as you scroll down, you start seeing the rest of the page. So there might be ads which are below the fold, 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 below the fold, which becomes visible once you scroll the page down. So viewable impression means you will be paying, or the adverts will consider something as an impression only if at least 50% of your ad becomes visible to the user at least for a second. Okay, so that is what is viewable impression. So you can pay for every 1,000 times you get a viewable impression, CPM. And as you saw in the video, if it's a video ad, for every view you can bid. Or if conversion is your marketing objective, you can go for CPA. So for every conversion you can say I want only X amount to be spent. So the bid strategy decision is primarily based upon what is your advertising objective or the marketing goal. Is that clear? If that is clear, let's go with this question. How do you know which bid strategy is the best one for you? The simple question you need to ask yourself is, what do I want the user to do after they have seen my ad? Do I want them to just walk away after becoming familiar with my brand? In which case, maybe CPM is a good strategy. Do I want them to click through to check out my website? In which case, CPC is a good strategy. Do I want them to join a loyalty program that I'm advertising, or I want them to create an account on my website? Maybe CPA is a good strategy. Do you want them to purchase something from the website? Again, CPA or CPC, both of them can be applicable. So this is a good tabular format to understand this in a very crisp format. If your advertising goal is direct action by customers on your website, then your focus needs to be on conversions. You can go for any of the AdWords smart bidding strategies, which are basically automated strategies related to conversion, which we will discuss in the next slide. And you can use this tool called conversion tracking to track conversions. If you just want to generate more footfall traffic to your website through the ads, you are valuing clicks on your ads. So you can go for a CPC model, cost per click. If your advertising goal is brand awareness, your focus should be on impressions metric. You can go for VCPM or certain other bid strategies, which we will discuss in the next slide. So target search page location is basically if you want your ad to appear only on the first page of your search results or on the top half of the first page. You can specify all that in this kind of bid strategy. Uh, if you want to increase the views or interactions with your ads through videos, you will bid on view, so cost per view. You can also bid on cost per 1,000 impressions or CPM. We will see that in detail when we look at the video campaign. And finally, if you want to increase product or brand consideration through videos, you will go for CPV. Are we clear on this? Any doubts you are having about what to focus on when you are going for a particular objective? Okay, so let's look at one question. Assume that you have just started a new business and you're excited to spread the word. What bid strategy would you opt for when you create an AdWords campaign? What would be your answer? CPM, CPC. So, what is the marketing objective here, Sarmishra? Spreading the word, right? It's a new business. So, typically, CPM or impressions are what is more valuable for you, because building brand visibility and brand recall are important at this stage. Okay. Next question. Your business has decided to set up an e-commerce portal to market something that is quite trendy. Okay. Now, your business has already been well established. What kind of a bid strategy would you opt for when you want to create a campaign, AdWords campaign at this point? So, what's the point? You're going to set up a e-commerce portal to sell some stuff. CPC, CPA, CPC. Okay. What else? Very good, Diksha, Robin. It could either you could go for conversion based bid strategies, any of the CPA bid strategies, or you can also go for CPC, cost per click, because the focus is on marketing certain things. E-commerce portal means a portal where you sell some stuff. So if sales or conversion is your focus, you need to go for CPC or conversion based bid strategy. That's right, Manali. Okay. Are we clear on this? Any doubts? So let us look at the bid strategies. Again, in the shared library section, which I talked about earlier, you will see something called a portfolio bid strategy option. Have you all seen that? When you click on this portfolio bid strategy option in the shared library, you will see the screen that you're seeing on this screenshot. Okay, where you can create a new portfolio bid strategy. Now, when you click on that, it will ask you what kind of bid strategy do you want to create. Target CPA, target ROAS, maximize clicks, target search page, target outranking share, enhance CPC. Okay, all these are different strategies that can be created. Let us look at them in detail. So basically, portfolio bid strategies are automated bid strategies, which means you just set a goal, and to achieve that goal, the system will arrive at certain bids automatically. You don't have to manually do anything. Okay, are you all clear about that concept? In an automated portfolio bid strategy, you only set the goal of why you want that bid strategy, and to achieve that goal, the system will arrive at certain bids. Is that much clear? Now let us look at what are the different goals that you can set. First one is target CPA. So CPA, as I told you, is target cost per acquisition. Acquisition here refers to a conversion. And what is a conversion? Any action taken by a user who clicked on your ad that adds value to your business. So if I clicked on your ad, I came to your website, I bought something, or I filled up a form, or I downloaded your mobile app, something that added value to your business, that is treated as a conversion. In target CPA, what happens is I am given an option to set a target. So if I set my target CPA as, let's say, 50 rupees, it means I am telling the system, see, my goal is to make sure that I achieve a conversion on my website, and on an average, my conversions should not go beyond 50 rupee. Is that clear? That is the target I have set for my cost per conversion, cost per acquisition. Clear? Anybody has any doubt on this? What is target CPA? Now, my focus here, as you can see, is purely on getting a conversion at a particular amount. That is slightly different from the next one, target ROAS. ROAS here means return on ad spend. What is it? Return on ad spend. Ad spend is the amount I have spent on my ad. Return is the revenue I generate from it. Yeah. So in target ROAS, I can set a particular percentage as the target. So if I set 200% as my target ROAS, it means, so if I set my target ROAS as 200%, it means for every 1 rupee I spend, I want to get a return of 2 rupees. That is the meaning of setting a target ROAS of 200%. So if I set my target ROAS as 500%, what does that mean? For every 1 rupee I spend, I want to get 5 rupee in return. So if you notice this, ROAS bit strategy is focusing on the conversion value, whereas CPA is focusing just on quantitative conversions. So you want conversions, you don't care about the value, but you want the conversions at a particular amount in CPA. In ROAS, you are focused on the actual conversion value that you generate. Are we clear on this? So if you go for a target ROAS option, system will ask you set a target for it. Based on what percentage you are setting, it will try to arrive at bits that can help you achieve the target. Okay. Next is enhanced CPC. Enhanced CPC is for those people who don't want to give all the control to the AdWords system to set a bid. So here, enhanced cost per click or ECPC. Basically, you are allowed to set a cost per click bid. So I can set, let's say, I have set a bid of 10 rupee per click. Now, if I check the option for enhanced CPC or ECPC, what happens is I am allowing the system to bid up to 30 or 100%. There is a range more than the set bid. So earlier it used to be 30% more than the bid you set, which means I will allow the system to bid up to 13 rupees instead of 10 rupee during instances when the system believes the click can get you conversions. So it's also focused on conversions, but the bid is not purely set by the system. It will only leverage to a particular extent more than the bid you set. Is this clear? It is also automated, but it can automate only to a it can decide only to a particular extent, not beyond that. Whereas in target CP and target ROAS, you are not even bothered about the bid. You just give the goal. Bid is completely up to the system. Okay. Now, the other three options are pretty easy. Maximize clicks means if I select maximize clicks as my bid strategy, whatever daily budget I have set, it will try to set that kind of a bid which can help me get maximum number of clicks on my ad. Okay. Then you have target search page location. Target search page location, as I told you, if I'm an advertiser who wants my ad to show up only on the first page, I can use target search page location. And there are two options here. One, to show up anywhere on the first page or show up on the first half of the first page, the top 4 ads you see there. So if I'm keeping it like that, system will try to arrive at bits which can help me get to that position. Target outranking share means, let's say I am consistently showing up on the first page of search results. Okay. And let's say Robin's ad is always showing one place above my ad. So Robin is my competitor. Okay. Hypothetically. Now I want to know how can I beat and get one place above Robin or Robin's ad. So in target outranking share, typically what happens is you can specify a particular domain in the AdWords interface. So your bids will be tuned in such a way that your bids can beat the bid of the competitor or the ads coming from that domain. Is that clear? The only downside is it can lead you also to exhaust your budget quickly. If the other person is bidding very high, in an effort to outbid them, you might not have enough budget. I will repeat, Robin. So in target outranking share, system will ask me set a percentage. So let's say I put 80 percentage. Okay, and let's say Robin, you are having a website, robin.com. Just I'm just writing just like that. So I specify my competitor domain, which I'm just hypothetically saying robin.com here, and I specify a percentage, which is my target outranking share, 80%. What this means, what this means is that out of every 100 times ads from my domain and ads from this particular domain enter an auction to compete with each other, system will try to make sure that 80 out of 100 times my ads or my keywords from this domain outbid your keywords or your ad. Is that clear? So if there is any reason why I am lagging in the ad position due to a deficiency in my bid, this will try to correct it. But this in no way guarantee that you can beat the other person, because it's, as you know, it's also a mix of not just bid but also quality score. So if you're already having a great quality score and something about your bid is limiting you, you can maybe use the target outranking share to target a specific competitor. If my bidding is more than my competitor's domain, then there is no point, no? You will anyway, you there's a higher possibility that you can always show up. Okay. I hope everybody got this. Any doubts? All right. So once you create a portfolio bid strategy like this on this interface, it will be stored in the shared library. So whenever you create a new campaign, you will have an option to select a bid strategy that you have already stored in the shared library. What if both does the same thing? See, Abhijit, both can try to set a target outranking share, but don't you think the quality score will be different? So obviously the ad rank will be different, and the daily budget set for both of the advertisers might be different. Sarmishta, frequently it is showing me the setting window. Which is setting window? I didn't understand. Is there any maximum limits to put competitor domain? My competitors are more than, no, in the target outranking share you can put only one competitor at a time. So maybe you can run a separate campaign specifically for one competitor. That's one option. I don't know, Sarmishta. Maybe it's a tech issue with the GoToMeeting app that you're having. All right. So moving ahead. So the AdWords smart bidding that we saw earlier is basically a set of automated bid strategies which includes target CPA, maximize conversions, target ROAS, and enhance CPC. So they basically help you fine tune your bids in such a way that you are able to you are able to achieve the conversion goals that you have set for your campaign. The only thing that you need to remember is for all conversion based bid strategies, a prerequisite is that you should have enabled or set up what we call as the conversion tracking. So conversion tracking is basically about generating a HTML code from the AdWords interface, which after it is generated in the AdWords interface, you have to implement it on the pages on your website where conversion can happen. So if I'm having a website where I'm selling something, if I want to track conversion, I need to first generate a conversion tracking code on AdWords interface, copy it, and paste it on the HTML page of the page where a person will land after they make the purchase. So let's say on Amazon or Flipkart, you buy something. Once you make the payment, what is the page that you land on? Typically, you will land on a page which says thank you, right? Or payment confirmed, or payment receipt, whatever. The thank you page. So every time you land on that thank you page, it is given that you have completed a conversion or a purchase. Am I right? So if any such page is there on your website, you put this conversion tracking code on that page, so that every time a person lands on that page, it can report the data about what is the conversion value, how many conversions, all this back to the AdWords interface. Okay, so that is one prerequisite. This conversion tracking has to be set up. Secondly, at least 15 conversions should have been recorded in the last 30 days from your account. Only then these conversion based bid strategies like target CPA or target ROAS can be applied. Why is it the case? Because if the system has to arrive at a bid which it believes can help you achieve conversion at a particular cost like target CPA, or achieve a particular conversion value like target ROAS, it should have some raw data. Yeah, which is why there is a requirement that 15 conversions in the last 30 days. So that based on how the system, how the bids, different bids and user actions behaved within that budget, or those for 15 conversions, that can be the basis or the starting point for the algorithm of AdWords to predict what kind of bids can get you to your goal. Is this clear? Everyone? All right. So setting up conversion tracking, 15 conversions the last 30 days. This is the requirements. If your campaign has historical data, then AdWords will recommend target CPA. And the target CPA recommended by AdWords is calculated on the basis of your actual CPA performance of the last few weeks. Now that brings us to a roundup of whatever we discussed in this week's class, which is something that is part of your week 2 assignment. So please pay attention. When you look at optimizing your campaign, it can be done at multiple levels, starting with account. At the account level, account structure level, make sure that when you create a campaign, you have a dedicated campaign for ads directing at the search network and ads which are directed at the display network. Okay. Same way, if you want to use different sets of campaign settings, again go for different campaigns. Like let's say I want campaigns targeting Kochi and targeting Delhi. If the nature of my advertising is different in both these locations, I would prefer to have a different campaign for both. Okay. But on the other hand, let's say I have a company which has branches in Cochin, Bangalore, Calcutta, Bombay, and Delhi, and I have a single budget for all the marketing initiatives for all these 4 cities or 5 cities. I can go for a single campaign with all these locations included in that campaign and use a shared budget. Okay, that is at the account level, campaign settings level. Then coming to ad group level, make sure that the ad groups are tightly themed, that we discussed earlier, and the relevance of the keyword to the ad and ad to the landing page is to be maintained. At the ad text level, we have already discussed yesterday what are the different editorial guidelines and other things you need to follow. Apart from that, create at least 2 or 3 variations of ads within each ad groups. So those of you who have created the ad group in the last week, just take a look at it, see how many ads you have created. If you have created only one ad, create 2 or 3 more variations of the same ad. Similarly, if you have only one ad group, create at least 2 or 3 ad groups in the campaign. And for every ad group, create at least 2 or 3 variations of the same ad. So you can play around with different call to action phrases or different USPs and stuff like that. Okay. And while writing the ad text, make sure at least one of your keywords in that ad group is part of the ad headline. Okay. Because this can help you improve the quality score. And of course, follow all the editorial and trademark policies that we discussed earlier. Your USP has to be highlighted, call to action phrases need to be present, industry capitalization should be used, all the things we discussed yesterday. Okay, and using a relevant display path and final URL. Any doubts on the slide? Then keyword optimization. Keyword optimization, make sure that in every ad group you have at least 15 to 20 keywords. If you can't find so many keywords within the specific theme that you have set for the ad group, make use of search term report or keyword planner to identify such keywords. Okay, and then instead of using single word keywords, try to use 2 or 3 worded keywords so that it helps being more specific. And have a mix of different match types that we discussed the importance earlier, right? So 15 to 20 keywords, 2 or 3 worded keywords, different match types, add negative keywords so that you can save cost and improve the CTR. Make use of keyword planner and the search term report, and make sure that you have specific final URLs for specific keywords. So you can set the final URL even at the keyword level. So if you have a very specific keyword, make sure you set a final URL that will take the user to a particular specific highly relevant page. Is this clear, guys? Any doubt? Okay. And finally, coming to landing page optimization, follow all the policy guidelines of AdWords. Make sure the content you have is relevant, original, and useful content. Be open about being contacted by customers so that it builds transparency and credibility for your business. If somebody wants to reach out to you over call, email, or form submission, make available that option to the users. Make sure that navigation is easy on both the laptop or the desktop as well as the mobile device. Avoid too many cluttering of the pages and pop-ups, and reduce the landing page load time. Nobody wants to wait for a landing page to load, right? That can affect the kind of results you might get. And many studies indicate most mobile website visitors leave the page which takes more than 3 seconds to load. And in spite of this, most mobile websites miss this mark by an average of 19 seconds. So that's huge. Okay. So basically make your website pretty fast and mobile friendly. And we already discussed some of the tools for this: mobile friendly test, AMP validated test, and all these things. Okay. So that's about week 2. If you go to your LMS, you will be able to see the assignment for week 2. Before that, please share your feedback for today's class in this link before you log out. Any doubts, guys, about today's class? Week 2 basically is about further refining the campaign you created on week 1. So if many of you, I think only 4 of you have created the campaign. So those of you who are yet to complete week 1, please try to complete week 1 assignment along with week 2 before next class. You have the weekend, right? Can you do that? And when you do that, when you create that campaign, make sure you follow all these guidelines related to account structure, related to ad text and keywords, keyword match types, and etc. Can we do that? Yes, guys. Would you be able to complete your assignments? Thank you. Thank you, Sarmishta. Great. So if you have taken the feedback form, if you have submitted your feedback for today's class, and you don't have any other questions, you can log out. I'll see you guys on next Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Thank you, Abhijit. Good night, Mohammed. Sarmishta, if you have any doubts, you can post it on the Q&A section of LMS so that one of us trainers can take a look at it. The problem with me sharing detail is that I might be traveling and busy, so I may not be able to respond on time. That's right, Robin. All right. Thank you, Sarmishta. Good night. Okay, guys. So see you guys on Tuesday at 8 o'clock.